Sometimes the day ends, but it doesn't really leave you. It's 8:20 at night. The bus pulls away from the curb, and for a few seconds, the street is louder than you are. Your shirt is still damp from work. Your hands feel raw. There's dust in the folds of your pants, and the smell of iron and cement seems to follow you even after the job site has gone quiet. Why can a short walk home feel longer than everything that came before it? What you may be feeling is the delayed weight of the day. In this video, I'll explain why that last stretch can feel so heavy, and why it often shows up when nothing on the outside looks that wrong. The 10-minute walk from the bus can seem simple to anyone watching. You get off. You cross the street. You pass the same stores, the same parked cars, the same cracked sidewalk. Maybe there's a laundromat still lit up. Maybe someone is carrying takeout. Maybe a dog barks behind a fence. But inside, something has shifted. All day, your body kept going because the day still had instructions. Carry this. Finish that. Move over there. Watch your footing. Answer when someone calls your name. Stay alert around the noise. Keep your place. Don't slow the crew down. Then the workday ends, and for a while, there is no next instruction. That can feel like relief. It can also feel strangely heavy. The delayed weight of the day is when your body finally starts feeling what it was too busy to feel earlier. During work, you may be tired, but tired has a job to do. After work, tired has nowhere else to hide. One common reason is that effort can cover up exhaustion while the day is still moving. When there is noise, pressure, and a task in front of you, your attention stays hooked to the next thing. You might not notice how sore your hand is until you are holding the bus pole and it stings. You might not notice how heavy your back feels until the street gets quiet enough for your body to speak. So the walk from the bus becomes the first place where the whole day catches up, step by step. Sometimes, it comes from the way work teaches you to stay useful even when you are already worn down. If you are paid by the hour, by the day, or by the job, slowing down can feel risky, even when nobody says it out loud. You learn to keep your face steady, keep your hands moving, and keep your tiredness private because there is still work in front of you. Later, when you are alone on the sidewalk, that private tiredness finally has space. It may not come out as a big feeling, it may just make every block feel longer than it is. There's also a quieter reason. The walk sits between two versions of you. At work, you are the person who can still lift, carry, answer, finish, and endure. At home, maybe you are the person who still has messages waiting, bills on the table, food to warm up, laundry in a chair, or someone asking how the day went. The walk is the thin space between those two places, and sometimes the mind floats away there because neither version has fully let go. You are not lost, you are between roles, and that in-between space can feel heavier than people expect. It's around 8:20 on a weekday night, and you step off the bus with a lunch container in one hand and your work glove stuffed into the other. The job site has been quiet for maybe 40 minutes, but your ears still remember the machines. The streetlights make the dust on your shoes look pale. You keep walking because that is what the route asks for, but your mind is already somewhere else. You think about the thing you didn't finish, or the way someone spoke to you, or the money that will come, and how much of it is already spoken for. You pass a small store with cold drinks in the window, and for a second you think about going in, not because you want anything that badly, but because stopping might feel easier than arriving. There is a tiredness in your body, but also a strange emptiness. The day was full, yet now that it is over, you don't feel full. You feel scraped out. If you've been there, you're not strange. You might know someone who lives like this. This is what the delayed weight of the day can look like when it shows up quietly. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't turn the whole night dramatic. It just makes the last 10 minutes feel like a hallway you keep walking through, even though the door is already in sight. Part of what makes it hard to explain is that nothing obvious may be wrong. You made it through the day. The bus came. The street is familiar. Your body is still moving. Maybe you even tell yourself, it's fine, it's almost over. And in a practical sense, it is almost over. But emotionally, the day may still be open. A long day does not always end when the clock says it ends. Sometimes it ends when the smell of work leaves your clothes. Sometimes it ends when your hands stop buzzing from tools. Sometimes it ends when the last noise fades from your ears. Sometimes it ends much later, when you sit down and realize you have been holding yourself together without calling it that. That is why the walk can feel so much longer than 10 minutes. It is not only distance. It is a small stretch of pavement where your body is finally allowed to notice what the day cost. And that can affect the way you move through the rest of the night. You may get home and speak less than usual. Not because you are angry. Just because words feel like extra weight. You may stand in the doorway a little too long before taking off your shoes. You may open the fridge, close it, and then open it again. You may look at your phone and not answer anyone yet, because even a simple reply feels like one more task. For some people, this becomes a quiet pattern. The day takes most of their focus, and the walk home becomes the only place where their real mood appears. They may not cry. They may not complain. They may not even fully know what they feel. They just notice that the route home feels longer when the body has been carrying more than the schedule shows. There is also a small loneliness inside this kind of tired. Not the loneliness of having no one around. More like the feeling that nobody saw the exact version of the day you lived through. They might know you worked. They might know you're tired. But they didn't feel the weight of the bucket, the rough edge against your palm, the way dust stuck to your neck, the moment you kept going because everyone else kept going. So when you step off the bus, you are carrying a story without enough words around it. That can make the sidewalk feel strangely quiet. A gentle way to understand this moment is to see it as a crossing, not a failure of energy. You are crossing from noise into quiet. From being useful to being unseen. From having tasks to having feelings. From the version of you that kept going to the version of you that is finally allowed to feel how much it took. There can be a soft kind of care in naming it that way. You might notice the first few steps after the bus and quietly say to yourself, the day is still leaving my body. Not as a rule. Not as a big practice. Just a plain sentence that gives the moment a little room. You might also let one small object mark the shift. The gloves coming off. The hard hat moving from hand to bag. The transit card sliding back into your pocket. The first breath after the bus pulls away. Something ordinary can remind you that the work part is over, even if your body is still catching up. This may not make the walk shorter. But it can make the walk less confusing. Because sometimes the hardest part of the day is not the most difficult task. It is the first quiet moment after all the tasks are done. The moment when there is nothing left to lift, but your arms still feel like they are lifting. The moment when the machines have stopped, but your ears still carry them. The moment when the street looks normal, and you wonder why you feel so far away from yourself. You are still the same person during that walk. Not a weaker version. Not a dramatic version. Just the version of you that appears when the day no longer has enough noise to cover the truth of how tired you are. That is the identity anchor here. You are someone who made it through the day, even if the day is still making its way through you. And maybe that is why the 10-minute walk from the bus can feel so long. It is not empty time. It is the place where the body starts telling the story the mouth did not tell. It is where the streetlights, the dust on your shoes, the damp shirt, the sore hands, and the quiet after the machines all gather into one feeling. A person passing by might see someone walking home. But inside, you may be slowly setting down a whole day. Not all at once. Just one step at a time.